Hello and welcome back to yet another episode. Finally, another episode of
You Asked For It, and you guys have been asking for the Ather 450X versus the Honda Activa. Now these are two scooters, but they are not two scooters that compete with each other. One is an ICE scooter, one is an electric scooter, but you guys have been asking for it, so why have you been asking for it?
Well, honestly, in our previous episodes, we had the Duke 390 and the Interceptor, and I always thought people are asking because they are in the same price category. But here, I think people are benchmarking any and every scooter with the Activa. But having parked that thought aside, let's dive into the details now. You are representing the Activa because seniority. So why do you think the Activa is such a bestseller?
I think the Activa is such a bestseller because no one goes out to buy a scooter. A lot of India just goes out to buy an Activa. You know, mothers, fathers, children, not children.
Children,
but
children.
And you know, as soon as you graduate from college, as soon as you get that license, you want, Mummy, Papa, I want an Activa. You don't say a scooter, which is why the Activa is such a bestseller. And we have spoken about how it hasn't changed for a long time, but it hasn't changed because it doesn't need to change. You know, it is the OG scooter. And I think, like you said, the reason the Ather 450X is being benchmarked against the Activa is because of its legendary status in our market.
Oh, I mean, honestly, if you were to ask me why is the Ather 450X so popular, when you look at the sales numbers, it's not really popular. There are other electric scooters that sell quite a lot more than the Ather 450X. But in my experience, having ridden the scooter over so many generations, over 5 years, I faced only one software issue. One, and that is amazing. But what do you really like about the Activa?
I like the fuss-freeness of the Activa. You go into a Honda dealership, you put in the key to the Activa, you put in your deposit, you turn the key. By the time you have pressed the starter button, all the formalities are done, you're sorted, and you're heading home with a scooter. You don't have to worry about it. There is a very small learning, a little to no learning curve to the Activa. You get what you're asking for. You don't have to fiddle around with any screens, any new buttons. It is all sorted. I think the best thing about the Activa is that it is very easy. It is easy to get into and anyone can do it, which is why we see such a wide range of people riding Activas. From people whose first scooter might be an Activa to people who have been riding scooters all their lives are still on an Activa. It's that ease of use, the reliability, the trust of the brand. What do you like about the Ather 450X?
Pretty much everything. I think it's a complete scooter, and I've mentioned this in my previous videos as well about the Ather 450X. Ather as a brand built an ecosystem and then integrated their scooter. Whereas a lot of these startups usually have a scooter and then start to build up their fast charging network and the charging stations and all of the other things. Ather played this really well, very smart about how to approach, and that is why they took a lot of time to get the product into the market, which also means they did a lot of testing, and that is also why you don't see a lot of problems with the scooters. But talking about problems, what are the problems with the Activa?
I think the problem with the Activa is also the advantage of the Activa is in the sense that there is no learning curve to it, and because of that I feel Honda has been playing it a little too safe. From the Honda
Because
Activa,
easy can also be boring.
Easy can be boring, and I feel in this case easy is a little bit boring because nothing has changed. The styling is pretty much exactly the same. Okay, a few chrome bezels here and there.
Yeah.
But it's the
and
same.
a lot of G's.
A lot of G. A lot of G's. I think Geo will be happy. But you know, the industry has moved very far forward. I think scooters have seen such a huge jump in technology. See the Ather 450X. It's that screen is a marvel. It is brilliant. The Activa has none of that. The Activa, okay, now this gets a smart key and it's trying to be a little bit smart, but we all know that smart key, they're just doing it out of a twist of the hand of the industry, and they don't really want to change too much in the Activa, and I think that's also where the shortfall of the Activa is.
So if you had to suggest people on what they should buy in the 110cc category, what do you think is out there?
I think the Jupiter is a great option. The Access is a great option. I think the Activa still stays a great option for people who just want a scooter. Shut it and forget it. A scooter. They don't want to do the buying advice. They don't want to go through the spec sheets. They don't want to choose the colors. They don't want to see the variants. They just want a damn scooter. And for that, the Activa makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's out of the way. I know you love the Ather a lot, but there has to be something wrong with the product, right?
Absolutely. No vehicle is perfect. No vehicle is perfect, and the Ather is not perfect either. But over years, what the brand has done is they have tried to sort of rectify those errors. But a couple of them still remain. I've never ever liked the braking on the Ather. Because I've always felt the rear has the bite of a front and the front has the bite of a rear. The side stand leans out way too much, and for people who are getting on a scooter for the very first time, they might find it difficult to just get it off the main stand. And once you start moving, it's fine. And the final thing which they've rectified now with this particular variant, that's the seat. For someone who's as tall as I am, my frame,
5'10",
6'2",
5'9".
Anyway, 6'2". I had to scoot a little. I had to scoot back to get comfortable on the scooter.
Cruiser style.
The cruiser style. And the earlier generation had this hump which was sort of getting in the way of comfort. In this generation, they have flattened this hump, smoothened it out so that people who are taller can also sit very comfortably on the scooter. And I know for a fact that Ather takes a lot of this customer feedback. They have this route of taking customer feedback and implementing those changes.
And I think they take pride in it. They take pride in learning from their customers 100%. And then building up on that product.
Yeah.
That process might be slow, like we've all faced that thing of Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 has not been a Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 change. But the value additions have not been for gimmicks or press release or headlines.
Legit value additions.
It's legit value additions.
So I think having said the good things and the bad things about these two scooters, it's time to sort of sum it up.
I have a question, wait.
Okay, sure, go for it.
If someone is going out in the market to buy an Activa today, would you recommend the Ather to them?
And that's where we'll talk about pricing, because the price difference between the two scooters,
huge.
It's huge. I mean, if you check the top spec Ather in Pune, the on-road price, it's north of $1.5 lakh, and the Activa on-road will be about $1 lakh,
exactly
around the lakh mark.
Yeah.
So the difference in pricing between the two is pretty significant.
Big, yes.
So if you are looking for an Activa and actively want to switch to an electric, I think there are better options, affordable options. They might not be as impressive as the spec sheet of the Ather, or even not that impressive to ride, but they are very traditional in terms of how a scooter is. So the Chetak, for example, the iQube, for example, very traditional, very friendly to ride, very easy to transition to. But which one will you select?
I know I'm siding with the Activa on this one, but I would also probably take the Ather 450X. We both have this shared love for the Ather and the way Ather does things.
Yeah.
From the moment you start it to all the messages on the screen, even the way
it's a very unique nice,
experience,
pleasant experience.
Even the way the Ather website is designed, they don't say MIDC certified range or whatever. They just say true range. This is the range you will get, and that's something I love the Ather for. The range it says is the range you will get.
Now stop fanboying over the Ather. I think it's
I'm
time
riding it home.
You're riding it home? Alright, superb. We'll be back with some more interesting comparos like the one that we have here. You know why? Because you asked for it.
Good coordination.
Yeah, good coordination. We timed it. Cool. Cut. Cut it.